reasons why cardio is worse than lifting weights. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, this is NoBSNutirition, episode 30 of the podcast. I want to say thank you for everyone who supported me on these podcasts. I'm trying to give quick and educational information out there and trying to give you the best sources for your fitness journey or losing weight, body fat, or increasing muscle mass, anything. So let's just get right into it. So this video is to explain why I think cardio is worse than lifting weights in the long-term future. And number one will be what I really think about cardio. I don't think cardio is a total waste of time of lifting weights, but cardio has misconceptions about losing body fat and what you need and what's actually appropriate of how much cardio you should do. I don't think cardio is a total waste of time. I think it's a really many benefits. But if you get to a certain point doing like 22, even 30,000 steps a day of cardio training or vigorous activity of cardio or any training like that sort and skipping out weight training, then I think it's a total waste of time and you're wasting your time and could actually go focus on playing with your kids, playing soccer, doing a sport that you like, doing something else than just going on a treadmill or, wasting more time on cardio or actually get stronger, build muscle to fuel performance in the long term. So that's what I really think. I do like cardio. I was a cardio junkie. I used to do 40,000 steps a day and go on the treadmill. But I slowly stopped that and reduced that number. I feel way better, building more muscle, and over time that's going to help me in the future with my metabolism and also get more healthier. And it saves a lot of time. Okay, so I just talked about number one. That was number one. Number two is why most people can do overdo cardio. Overdo cardio is most people because they're trying to lose body fat, right? Logically, if you do more than you consume, if you do burning activities like doing cardio or vigorous activity like HIIT, cardio, or anything that produce a lot of force, and you have to run or sweat, then logically, okay, if I want to lose weight, people will say, that I ain't even going to say body fat, but if I want to lose weight or body fat, then I do a lot of cardio. That is not necessarily true. Starting point and getting started on cardio is good and essential because it helps with promoting weight training. And what training would do is promote muscle mass. And over time, muscle mass takes about time. It will take time. It's like investment. I like to compare it as investment. It takes time to build muscle. You're putting savings over time. So if you put $5 every day, $5 in 2 weeks will be probably around, let's say, 35 plus 35 is $70. So if you do that investment, now you got $70. You got 5 pounds of muscle, lean tissue. That's will make a big difference, and that will help you actually lose more body fat percentage. It will be more easier to actually get this building muscle single to say, hey, we're building muscle. What's the result of that? Losing more body fat, ironically. Because when you try to do a lot of cardio, your body will easily get adapted to the amount of cardio. So in 2 weeks, it will get adapted to the calories you're burning. You have to do more and more. Then you have to might put your calories down because you probably tend to eat more. So you have to track. Then you have to go here and there. Then you reach a plateau because you lost more muscle mass, so you're actually fatter than before, and you lose a lot of muscle mass. And that's really to it. If you do a lot of cardio without proper resistance training or even protein or anything, you will lose muscle mass, and that will increase body fat percentage because you're smaller than before. And if you're smaller than before, good job, you lost weight, but probably out of that 20 pounds of weight loss you lost, that's like 15 pounds of muscle, which is not a good thing. And you will look better with, building more muscle, lose that body fat percentage, and actually have more muscle on your frame and lose more body fat overall. A lot of people can overdo it. They have these misconceptions that do a lot, so they can do a lot of vigorous activity. And with that vigorous activity and doing like 20,000 steps a day, in doing so, they will lose muscle mass and actually, ironically, have a bigger body fat percentage. And so that's why I think in the long-term sense, people doing this misconception, like, oh, I have to do like a 5K to lose body fat, that's not true. So I just want to say you can easily overdo cardio, especially if you have that misconception in your head or if you are a cardio junkie. So keep that in mind. Misconception with weight loss, this goes with number 2. So the same thing as the misconceptions. You don't have to do all this cardio. When I started, I only started by walking a lot. I did weight training, of course, but I did walk a lot. during that walking, I did 10,000. At first, I actually only did 8,000, 7,000 steps. Then I went to 10,000 steps. Then I went to 20. So for me, I overdid cardio. Same thing with number 2. You could easily overdo it for some people. I overdo cardio. So in doing that, I did lose weight, but I lost also mostly muscle mass. That could be the effects of me not eating protein any sooner or having not proper weight training. So if you don't have a lot of weight training and not a lot of weight training scheduled, like proper weight training, and also doing a lot of cardio, even if it's 10,000 steps, you will lose weight. Good job. But the worst part is you will lose weight, but actually be fatter than before because your muscle mass and fat ratio is off. I can get a client who lost 30 pounds of weight, but that 30 pounds can literally be 20 pounds of muscle, which is insanely different and bad, and 10 pounds of fat. You lost 10 pounds of fat. That's nothing to be excited about. You lost 30 pounds, okay, but you lost 10 pounds of fat versus 20 pounds of muscle mass. That can increase the risk of aging faster, cancer risk, more problems down the line. Even the simplest problem is, being discouraged and stopping, stop training overall in fitness. So that's also negative. But my point is, weight loss doesn't come with extra cardio to do. You don't need to always listen to the laws of thermodynamics, which it does help, wherever you consume more than you burn out will gain body fat, and then vice versa, vice back and forth, I mean. But my point is, you can always just do resistance training, strength training, so barbell lift, bench squat, deadlift, overhead press, stuff like that. Build strength, build muscle mass, and then later on, when your metabolism is a higher caloric need, and you're stronger. So let's say you're 3,000, then we can cut body fat. But during that process of just speeding up that metabolism and maybe reverse dieting, eating more calories slowly to go up to 3,000, you will lose body fat. And then after that, when you lost 20 pounds of body fat, 30 pounds of body fat, because you build so much muscle mass, then you can cut down, lose even 10 pounds, 20 pounds of body fat if you have to. Then you can go back and forth. Then just doing all this cardio, reach a plateau, you realize, oh, I lost weight, but that most weight on the scale is 20 pounds of muscle, and that's why I look fatter. That's why I don't have my goals. That's why I don't have the things that I like to do, because I'm actually fatter. And that's the sad part, and that can really discourage people. So no, you do not need cardio or this vigorous sweating activity. What I would suggest for most people is get 8 to 10,000 steps a day. That's what I'm trying to do. It's hard for me sometimes because I had to bike to the gym and stuff. So I am doing a lot of cardio. But of course, sleep, caloric needs will apply to this. So just be careful. What is going to help with what's going to help long-term fat loss? Build muscle. So build freaking muscle mass. Same thing with number 3 is build muscle mass. What I would suggest is mind pump, starting strength. Starting strength goes over their own way of training. So, but they still talk about the barbell lifts. They're starting strength. They focus on strength, and you just started out. So I would suggest them. They can be in the description below. Mind Pump, they're great on every topic, if you can imagine. And they don't hate cardio, but they do hate when people overdo it. Like I did, 20,000 steps, stuff like that. And yes, cardio is good for the heart. Cardio is good for this. But the long-term sense, you're not going to have 4 hours a day. And maybe sometimes even an hour a day to yourself to do morning cardio. That's why some people do 4 days of cardio and not 7 days, because they don't got the time. Most people who got the time is kids like my age who has only school, not even a job. So keep in mind, there's a lot more busy people who are going there and there and there, back and forth, or a lot of people busy at home just sitting all day and doing 2,000 steps. So it is very time consuming versus just going to the gym for 45 minutes 3 times a day and building so much muscle mass and speeding up that metabolism. You can able cut down at a sedentary job and lose body fat overall than just doing 3 to 4 hours of cardio and trying to speed that weight loss. Or even doing an hour of cardio and not resistance training will slow that weight loss and have a negative effect of weight loss and mostly lose body fat, No, mostly lose muscle mass, not body fat, because you're not resistance training properly, and we're not going to go diet, but that can have a cause in a situation that's negative in the future. So also building and not building muscle will cause diabetes too, by the way. Cause diabetes, that's the most common thing. Like, oh, I know this guy who's skinny, he has diabetes, and that could also be effective diet, of course, but that's also causes diabetes. If you don't build muscle, that can happen to your insulin. Muscle is insulin resistance. So if you do all this cardio, and try and cut, and then you say, okay, fuck it, I'm done because I'm not seeing the progress I want. I'm fatter than before, but I still lost the weight, but I'm still fatter, and then after that, you've lost all that muscle mass, you eat like shit like before. Now you have a high levels of being diabetic, but you're smaller. So people are like, why are you diabetic? You're smaller. That's not a genetic thing always. It's also destroying your metabolism because you got less muscle than before, and now you have diabetes. So it's just another example of that. You probably understand that muscle is very protective. Muscle will fight cancer. Most people who die of cancer, unfortunately, are people that have no muscle mass or very sickly from the beginning. They didn't have a good health. And yes, that's not me excusing the fact that there's other people that died from cancer that had excellent health. But my point is, muscle is very protective of cancer and stuff like that, diabetes and insulin, that will protect you. So just because they're burning calories and you have a faster metabolism is also protective of those things you have to keep in mind, especially if it runs in your family, like diabetes or cancer. You really need to consider, resistance training and then cardio as a last resort. So I'm not saying cardio is bad, but I am saying resistance training will help you in the long term to actually speed up that metabolism. Doing for 3 to 4 hours a day of cardio will not help you in the long term, especially if you're even doing an hour of cardio and no resistance training. That will still not help you. You might lose weight, but mostly muscle mass. So, yeah, that was my little rant. Number 4, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Number 5. So cardio. Overdo cardio can have a slow metabolism and increase body fat percentage. Same thing, I talked about it. I'm just going to go briefly. Overdo cardio and not properly resistance training will increase body fat percentage because you're losing muscle mass. That is a given factor, especially if you consider the factors of a caloric deficit or consider the factors of diet and nutrition and sleep and stress. So even though you lost weight on the scale, let's say 50 pounds of weight, most of that weight would definitely be muscle mass. And if it's not, then most of the time is probably your nutrition is right or your training is right. But most of that weight commonly will be muscle mass, and then you will be fatter than before. It's no going away around. The good thing you lost the weight, but now you actually fatter than before because you didn't properly eat the right nutrition, eat more protein, or you didn't resistance train, strength train, build muscle. So keep that in mind. Reasons why building muscle can lose body fat. Like I said, building muscle is like an investment over time. You build muscle, you put money into it over time. Once you save up $100, you got, let's say, 10 pounds of muscle. And that over time, during that process of building muscle, you will ironically lose body fat throughout that time and have a higher calorie deficit, higher calorie expenditure, so you can eat that, piece of cake. You can eat that pizza slices. You can drink that glass of wine. It won't feel like that's sticking onto your body, and able to cut from 2,500 calories and feel very, very satisfied, and actually get smaller and eat 3,000 calories at a body weight of 150 instead of eating, let's say, 2,000 calories at a body weight of 180. It does happen, and that will destroy your metabolism because you're not building muscle mass. You got to understand, cardio is good for your heart, yes, but doing 20,000 cardio or doing HIIT cardio every day and not properly resistance training is not doing cardio and picking up dumbbells. I mean, resistance training, like with barbells, or actually tracking it and having good rest periods, will do you service in the long term than just doing cardio and forget about that. So just keep in mind, you will lose muscle if you just focus on cardio, especially if we're not talking about nutrition and sleep. So yeah. Reasons why building muscle can save time. It goes with cardio. Cardio takes a lot of time, and yes, you can make a argument, strength training takes time, but strength training, you don't have to be in the gym 6 times a day, hour a day, 2 hours in the gym. Strength training is literally as simple as being even just 2 days in the gym, full body. And I know 2 days can even be hard for most people, but it is possible doing 3 to 4 days of cardio. Cardio doesn't have to be on the treadmill, by the way. I wanted to expand this. Cardio can be playing with your kids with soccer. Cardio can be shadowboxing. Cardio can be playing a sport. Cardio is vigorous, activity or moderate to activity. So something that you maybe sweat briefly, or doing something for an hour or 2 a day. That is cardio. You don't have to be on the treadmill and stuff. And even though, like I said, cardio will take more time and strength training would take less, at least use if you're gonna do, how I word this right, if you're gonna do cardio, at least use it to your advantage and actually, talk to the people you love, spend time with them in a sense, so you don't waste your time going to the gym every time. And that's not negative. I'm not trying to have a negative aspect about that, but my point is, spending time with your family, if you like your family, will be a positive influence in how your fitness journey will succeed or in your life. So just keep that in mind. But my point back to the muscle building is like an investment. You save time, you put money into it, you will get the results. And throughout that process of your fitness journey, building more muscle mass, you will lose that body fat percentage. You will get bigger with muscle, and guaranteed muscle is muscle burns body fat. You probably heard about that because it's so true. Muscle will burn body fat because you increase your muscle mass. You increase body fat percentage. So if the weight go on the scale, but your sleep, stress, nutrition, and strength training is right, most likely you're building muscle. If you got defined abs now, or defined legs, or a defined glutes, and your clothes are fitting tighter, and they're defined and stronger, most likely that's muscle mass than fat. Most likely that's not fat on the scale. Most likely that's muscle if everything else is accounted for. So even if let's say if I miss cardio today and I had to go on the computer and just work, at least I build all this muscle so I can eat 3,000 or 4,000 calories, or probably, depending how it goes, the same, because I build so much muscle mass. I'm not saying skip your cardio sessions. Cardio is good for the heart and good for, not being gasped so much, but don't focus on cardio as the prime focus of losing body fat. Focus on weight training. Doing weight training will burn body fat throughout the periods of time, and you will actually learn more things by just running and doing things. But that's besides the point. That's really it for today's video. I don't hate on cardio, but I believe resistance training, it will be better in the long term, especially for most people. Not the fitness fanatics, not the kid, my age, the guys focusing on lifting weights. I mean, for most people on their 30s or 40s thinking that, okay, I need to lose this body fat percentage, you do not have to do a lot of cardio. So why would you do more if you can get better results by doing less? So that's really it for my argument. If you guys want to, comment below, maybe, have a good argument, not in a negative way, just, if you want to talk or defend your claim, then you can. But that's my argument. So I believe in that, and I will honestly die on that. So, yeah. So that's it for the episode 30 of NoBSNutirition. We talk about why cardio is worse than the strength training. And, yeah, that's really it. Please subscribe and like or share so people can have more information about this. And even if you don't want to subscribe, at least like, or comment below. That would be nice. So this is Drake or NoBSNutirition. Goodbye.